Hi everyone, Julie Powell here. Today we're going to have a look at how to remove some distractions from two different photos in Capture One. Sure, there's some easy things that you can fix up really quickly, and there's a couple of other things that aren't quite so easy to fix. So I'm going to have a little look at what we can do in Capture One. So this is my first image, so I'm going to just go over to the adjust panel to start with. And what I want to do is I'm just going to go into my little annotate so you can see what I'm talking about. So I want to get rid of this stick here. I want to get rid of this stick here. I also want to get rid of these flowers. Now, even while flowers aren't really that distracting, in this image they are, because they do draw the eye in because they're completely different colours. So I want to get rid of them. Now, if I zoom in a little bit, I also want to get rid of the hair. There's just a few flyaways there that I want to get rid of. Now, I'm not going to edit her face or anything like that in this shot. I'm just going to go through how to get rid of those. So if I then scroll out, so I've got these little areas I want to get rid of. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of those for the moment because I don't really need them in my shot. And I'm going to start with the healing mask. So okay, so I'm just going to zoom in just with my scroll wheel, and I'm just going to click on the little band-aid. We can come in and we can use the spot removal tool. So we can click in spots, and it doesn't do a bad job. You can, of course, right click on that and you can turn around whether it's dust or spots, and you can adjust that. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to reset that, and I'm going to change over to the draw healing mask. So this gives you just a little bit more control. If you right click, you can then come in, you can bring your hardness all the way down so it has a nice soft edge. You can drop your opacity if you want to, or leave it at 100%, which I will do. I'm going to uncheck all of these because I'm actually just using a mouse at the moment, and I am going to drop my flow down to about 60%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and, using my bracket keys to make it smaller, I'm just going to draw over small areas at a time. Where it tends to change the contrast or the background color, sometimes it is worth just doing a little bit of a stop so that the program can see. It doesn't always do the greatest job, so you have to do a little bit at a time. That's better. So sometimes you just have to use a little bit of patience. Okay, now they're quite a small little area, so you can't really notice that. Let's go into something a little bit more challenging, but not really. So I'm just going to brush over that area. And blend it in. Okay, so let's go over to these last couple of really challenging areas. So you can either keep going with that tool, and it's not doing a bad job. The other thing that you could play with is the draw cloning mask. And what you need to do with the draw cloning mask is you actually need to select the area. So if you press Alt or Option, on a Mac and click the area that you want to select from. So it's just like the cloning tool in Photoshop, and you can come in and select different areas that you want to work on. The other thing that you can do when you have got that cloning tool on is if you actually make the area that you want to work with bigger and select a larger area to work with, and that can help blend things through a little bit more. So sometimes it just gives you a slightly better finish. So that's how to remove those little distractions on this image. I could come in and also do this area here, but I was just wanting to show you those little things. You could apply the same principles to clean up that area as well. Okay, so this image is a little more challenging. What I want to do is try and darken down the back of my model here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new layer, and I'm going to come in with my magic brush, or you can choose from up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw, oops, click on it first, draw where I want it. And to be able to see the mask, if you come up here, you can turn your mask on. So I've gone through and I'm working out areas where I want the mask, oops, to collect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to darken that off by dropping the exposure. I'm going to bring the brightness down, and I'm going to bring the saturation down as well. I could also mute the contrast. Now that hasn't solved my problem entirely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a new adjustment layer, and I'm going to come back in with the magic brush, and I'm going to select other areas of the image. Just give it a second to calculate the mask, and then I can make them darker as well. Now you can keep adding to the area by just brushing, but you do need to be careful what it picks up and what it doesn't. So it has picked up her shoes, which I don't want it to do, so I am going to go over to the magic eraser, and I want to take it off her shoes. Okay, so I've still got the window that I'm dealing with there. So you can just keep coming in more and more and more and doing more masks and bringing it down. So I've got to swap back over to my brush and just let it calculate. I've still got that car in the background, which is a bit of an issue. So I'm going to come back in with another mask, or another layer I should say, and I'm going to pick that car up. Now it has also picked up the necklace and some of her hair. So I'm just going to come back in with the magic eraser, and I want it off the hair. Off the necklace. Okay, let's bring the exposure down on that car a little bit. We're slowly getting there. It's not like you've got a background removal tool or anything like that. We could come in, if I added another new layer, we could come in with some of the cloning tools, and you could clone in some of the area. I'm just going to come back in with a smaller area. And clone some of that out. So it's fiddly, but you can, with a little bit of patience, you can come in and you can fix things up. So I've just been jumping backwards and forwards and adding more and more and more adjustment layers, and just working a little bit at a time. So I've got most of my background fairly dark. Now I can continue to work on the image, edit it as I require, straighten it, crop it, do whatever I want to. But I do have my background mostly darkened off so that it's not quite so distracting. So that's how you can remove some distractions in Capture One. So it's not impossible, it's just a little bit fiddly. Thanks for watching. Bye.